welcome back to the channel and welcome back to... Is this the first live stream I've done this week? It feels like it might be. I think it's the first since last Sunday when we celebrated us lifting a league title. Today it's time to go live to celebrate lifting the Scottish Cup. Celtic make it a double, and in doing so they give themselves the joint honour of calling themselves the world's most successful club. Now we're not going to start with all that. However, 118. 118 major honours for Celtic now. Apt. How fitting. They done it for me. I'm joking. Hello, it's nice to see you. How are we all feeling? Oh, it's nice to be on live in the air here tonight to talk about Celtic, to talk about yesterday, to talk about what an amazing season it has been for Celtic Football Club. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, but ultimately Brendan Rodgers sits here at the end when he said he'd see us in May with not only a league title to celebrate in May, but the Scottish Cup as well. It is a fantastic time to be a Celtic fan. The glory days are still among us. They've not gone away, you know. And boy, what just a general great feeling to be a Celtic fan. I done my match reaction yesterday and I summed all of my kind of emotion up, how I was feeling in the moment, and I said, you know, all the analytical breakdown that you were maybe hoping for the game will have to wait, and all the tactical breakdown that you maybe expect in a match reaction. I said you'd maybe have to wait till today. I still don't even think I'm ready for that, you know. I still feel that same feeling that I felt yesterday when the full-time whistle went. I don't want to talk about the ins and outs of the game and the breakdowns in play and who done well between the lines here and there and what expected goals. I don't want to talk about anything like that. I just want to talk about how good it is that we've managed to get it done. Rangers went up against us on 5 separate occasions this season. 5! They didn't beat us. They never took the lead once. And that was the quadruple chasing Bears, by the way. Just saying, that was the quadruple chasing Bears. We might not have done a quadruple, Christ, we might not even have done a treble this season, but a Brendan Rodgers double on his first season back, his first time of asking, listen, I would have chewed the hand off for it, because I know that listen, we love a treble every year, and maybe the recent years of success has set the bar and set the expectation to a treble, but if you've been a Celtic fan long enough, and you've been a Celtic fan your whole life, and especially if you're a bit older than me, or or in the same age range as me, you'll know that you can't expect a treble every year, that you can't win the treble every single year. It's just unfeasible. It's impossible to go and do that every year. We've seen our success, and we're continuing our success at an alarming rate, at a great rate, and winning a double is still absolutely magnificent work, especially when you look at the situation we've had to go through this season with injuries, with the players that we've lost, with the transition from such an intense footballing situation we had with Ange Postecoglou. It was never going to be easy first time of asking for Brendan Rodgers, and when the going got tough, well, the tough got going. And we stand here better off for it. We stand here with 118 major honours, tying ourselves with Rangers. We now have more domestic cup wins in Rangers Football Club, and we're only one league title away from drawing on the league title front as well. It's a pretty... I mean, if you said this to any Celtic fan, not only 10 years ago, but 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that we would overtake Rangers in the fashion that we're about to, because we're only one trophy away from doing it, you would never have believed it, and the Rangers fans would have laughed in your face at even the slightest suggestion of it. So enjoy these days, enjoy them while you have them, no matter what age you are, no matter if you're watching this stream and you're 10 years old, 20 years old, or Christ, if you're 80 years old, enjoy this, because it's not going to last forever, and one day it will change. I hope it does. I hope I'm lying in my deathbed in 70 years time, Christ, that's ambitious, 60, 50 years time, I hope I'm lying in my deathbed, and I'm hoping that I can still be watching Celtic win continuous trebles, continuous doubles, and trophy after trophy, and league title after league title, but at the end of the day, it's not going to happen every year. So while you can enjoy it, do it. Because some Celtic fans have seen worse than what I've managed to get in my lifetime. I've been here, 24 years now. And in those 24 years of my existence and my conscious memory of being a Celtic fan, I have been blessed, I have been lucky, I have been spoiled, quite frankly, by the success that has been laid down by the manager after manager that we've seen here. Bar the odd couple. Sorry, Tony. Don't mean to drag you down like that. But it's been fantastic, and I am living it up. I am loving it. I will continue to laugh at the opposition whenever given the opportunity. because it's just how it's how rivalry works, isn't it? How are we all feeling? It's nice to see you on this Sunday evening. I hope you've managed to bring yourself in. We've got over 200 live viewers in the opening 5 minutes. If you haven't already, please make sure to go down below, hit like, hit subscribe. We're going to do a kind of brief recap on yesterday, talk about some of the big stories from that game, and we're also going to do the Q&A session as we normally do for 15 minutes or so towards the end of the stream. It's nice to see some of the familiar names. It's nice to see some unfamiliar names as well. I have a feeling the chat might be quiet from Rangers fans this evening. Usually there's one or two that come in, they like to give it a wee... And you know what, I welcome all. I like having people of all teams. They just get a bit of a general opinion. I like the Rangers fans who come in and keep it civil and have a conversation. Usually get the odd couple that come in and they try and stir the pot and they try and spam their comments. I have a feeling they'll be taking the night off tonight. Heads hurting a little bit and not for the drink. Yesterday, just a terrible game. terrible game. And I think that makes it even, you know, I said that obviously yesterday the match reaction, and I'm saying here at the top of the stream that you'll have to wait for the tactical breakdown, that you'll have to wait for my analysis on the game when it comes to the football being played. But honestly, I think that I'm doing us all a favour, doing myself a favour by avoiding that conversation, because honestly there wasn't much great football to break down, was there? The game just kind of passed a lot of people. Some of our best players, you know, you look at Matt O'Reilly, you look at Rio Hatate, had a very quiet day. Christ, it might be Matt O'Reilly's last game in a Celtic shirt, but the game just sort of passed them by. And I felt like that was the case, not just for those two, they were just two of the players that I brought up, but for a lot of players I thought that the game passed them by yesterday. I think it's very difficult to actually bring up people who had a great game or a solid game. I think Alistair Johnson was good. I think Cameron Carter-Vickers was good. I think Adam Ida was good when he came off the bench as well. But apart from that, you know, there's nobody I would necessarily give a great scoring to or a great amount of praise to, because, you know, we got the job done, and that's the main thing. Christ, I couldn't care how they all performed in the 90 now, as long as we lift the Scottish Cup. That was the main task at hand. But at the end of the day, it's just it was a horrible game. Joe Hart didn't even have to make any saves. It wasn't like Rangers were impressive either. And listen, we might hear stories from certain people saying that Rangers were better at this or Rangers were better than that. And listen, I think for all that it's worth, doesn't matter now because they're losers. But I think in the second half, I would say Rangers were probably the better team. They probably could have had more if they knew how to finish their dinner. But I think at the same time, we were the better team in the first half. I think we could have had more if we could etch our chances out a bit better. Kyogo was quiet. He couldn't get into those areas. They were keeping care of him. They were making sure he wasn't getting into those dangerous zones where he would normally punish them. So I think that the general story of the game was it was poor. But at the end of the day, in cup finals, it can be a nervy affair. It can be a tense affair. It can be one that changes the way that a team would normally play, and I think we've seen an example of that for Celtic at least yesterday. I think we're still seeing the same Rangers that we've seen in every derby, hacking the ball up the park and hoping for the best in the first half. I'm not going to just sit and berate them because what's the point? But I think that I think there was that kind of nervy affair, that tense affair, and it made Celtic a little bit, I don't know. I wouldn't say we looked rocked, I wouldn't say we looked anxious or anything, but you could see that just in the final third especially, we weren't etching out the same opportunities that we normally would. I think the wingers struggled to get into the game. Forrest didn't get into the game as well as he has in the last few weeks. Maida was still taking Tavernier a walk, but it wasn't getting the same results from it. And Kyogo, as I said, just never really... we were just different. It was a cup final feeling, and the best team wins, and the best team got their goal at the end of the game. They waited, they bided their time. The opportunity fell to Adam Ida. Say what you like about Jack Butland spilling it right to his feet, but do you know what? It doesn't matter. He was there at the right time, the right place. He was clinical. He put the ball in the back of the net. He's creating all these headlines and conversations for himself to be signed up permanently, as it should be the conversation. And we'll come on to that. But Celtic got their goal. They waited patiently, and they done what Rangers couldn't, and that was put the ball in the back of the net without fouling an opposition player. So, happy days for Brendan Rodgers. Happy days for Celtic. I'm sure every single one of us Tims in the chat are very, very happy. And I cannot wait to move forward with this team, forward with this manager. Hopefully we back him in the summer. Hopefully we make improvements in the areas where we need to improve. And there is genuinely a sense of optimism for me as a Celtic fan in a minute. When you think back to maybe even January or February time, that optimism didn't quite exist. Now I feel like most people are on the same boat now. We're all kind of pulling in the same direction, and there's a general excitement to be a Celtic fan and to move forward with Brendan Rodgers. Before I keep talking, I better get through some of the donations because it is free. And remember, if you do want to donate, you can as well. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's always Much, much appreciated. It helps me out massively. And thank you for your support throughout the entirety of this campaign. Of course, that's it done now. What a way to drop the curtain on the campaign by finishing off with a cup yesterday. Ben, thank you. He says, has your accent changed? You sound different. I don't think it has. I don't think a day. Maybe a day. I don't listen. My accent on YouTube is nothing like how I talk outside the house anyway. This is my media voice. This is my presenting voice. If you meet me in the street, you meet me in the pub, I'm not going to talk like this to you. And do you know what's always funny? People always say, like, oh, talk how you would normally talk. See, when there's a camera and a microphone in front of you, it's impossible. It's impossible to talk the way that you normally would. Mostly because you need to put some volume and some oomph into it. But I don't believe it's changed. But thank you for the observation, Ben. Thank you to my man, Demo. Nice to see you. I hope you're enjoying the Finger Farm look weather, my man. It's beautiful outside. Like the fucking Amazon rainforest. Super Jack Butland and goal. Absolutely. What a keeper. What a keeper. He's a good Celtic man at heart. We all know that, don't we? He's a good Celtic man at heart. Thank you for the donation, Odemo. I do appreciate it. You're some man. And Celtic champion saying, hashtag back the Brodge, man for the job, give him the budget. I could not echo that feeling more than you already have there, Celtic champions. I genuinely could not. Back him, back the manager. Hopefully we get move forward next season. Do your normal voice for the champ. I sound like a winner, thank you. Do my normal voice. I genuinely couldn't. I mean, this is basically my normal voice. It's just a more amplified version of it. You know what I mean? It's just a more kind of polished up. You know, if I was to walk into the shops, I couldn't sit and do it right now. You know, I couldn't. 20 club and a bottle of bucky, please, mate. No, that doesn't even sound like it. That's not my voice. I don't know. It's hard when you got a camera, but. I get that one. I get that one, mate. I'm quite good at understanding the Northern Irish accent. I feel like when I bump into somebody from, you know, Belfast or Derry or whatever, I feel like I usually understand them pretty well, but I know people struggle, and I can see why. My normal voice is my German. Ja, spreche Sie Deutsch, ja. Ich heiße Ryan, ich studiere Germanistik in der Glasgow Universität, ja. Ich komme aus Glasgow. That's all I remember from my lessons. But no, brilliant yesterday. And I just think that, listen, despite the negatives in the performance, winning the cup was the main thing. And players stood up when they had to. Players still done the job defensively as well. Decisions obviously went the right way, which is always handy. But Adam Ida has sparked the big conversation, hasn't he? Should we sign him permanently? Of course we should. Absolutely. Get the money spent on him. He is a cracking player, and I genuinely can't see a world in where you can't want him signed up, because he's just so bloody good. He's just so bloody good, and I fucking love him. So get him signed. Get him signed permanently. Thanks very much. Should we just get into the Q&A? Because I've actually rabbled on a bit. We're 13 minutes into the stream already. And do you know what? This is... Kevin's brought it up nice. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the German. Give us... You want it? Rasenballspiel Leipzig, yeah? Rasenballspiel Leipzig. You could have been a translator for the Dortmund boys today. I couldn't. Trust me. I wish I could. I understand very little. I'm good at reading German. I can read German. I can make it out, but Christ. But this is something I didn't touch on yesterday. Before we get into the Q&A, right? Before we get into your questions and my answers, I've not spoken enough about Paulo Bernardo over the past 24 hours. When I came onto my match reaction yesterday, it was all about talking about Ida. Why should we sign Ida? Ida. You know, that was it. That was all that came to mind. That was all that people wanted to talk about and such. Very quietly under the radar's gone Paulo Bernardo's performance from the bench yesterday. And I didn't even mention him earlier on in this video when I was naming off the players who I thought were actually quite good. I thought Bernardo was brilliant. And you know what? I really like him. And I've said this all year. I like Bernardo. I would like Celtic to sign him just for the right price. Do I think that he's somebody that we're worth going out and spending maybe 10, 20 million pounds? Why would we sign him for 10, 20 million pounds? Of course we wouldn't. Do I think we should go out and sign him for 5, 6 million pounds? I don't know. I'm not that convinced. But I want him signed. If they can negotiate and get a good deal out of it, absolutely. I would love to see him signed permanently for Celtic, because I think he's a cracking addition. I think he's... Look, in terms of depth in the midfield, I don't know if Celtic can find many better players than Paulo Bernardo to be the centre midfielder that comes off the bench. So if there's an option to sign him there for a decent fee in the summer, absolutely. Some people say, aye, go and spend the 6 million. And do you know what? If Celtic did, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't. If it came out, if it emerged in the media, if it came out in the tabloids that Celtic went out and spent £5-6 million on Paulo Bernardo, I'd come on this channel clapping and applauding and being thankful that they'd done it. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm just saying I would be a bit sceptical if they were to, but I'd welcome it. I'd welcome it. I think if there's room for negotiation to try and get him for, £3-4 million, go for it. Absolutely. Maybe 2 million. But I don't know the ins and outs of the agreement that's in place. Mostly because the reports have been so conflicting and we've heard different numbers from different sources. Some people have said that there's an agreement for 1 million in there. Some people have said 2 million. Some people have said as much as 6.5 million. God knows what the actual number is. We don't know because there's been so many conflicting reports. But if there's, I would sign him. Absolutely. I would if the opportunity is there. And if it means Celtic paying 6 million or so for him, do it. Just go and do it because I think he's got a lot more to show at Celtic as well. I think we've only seen the surface. I think we've only scratched the surface, with Paulo Bernardo. I don't think we've seen the whole package yet. Do I think he's the Matt O'Reilly replacement? No, I don't. I don't think he should be considered the Matt O'Reilly replacement, but I absolutely think that he should be considered as somebody that Celtic bring in, further his development and see where he could be in a year or so's time. Because who knows, in a year or so's time, he could be just somebody that's just as reliable. I'm not saying just as good, but just as reliable as Matt O'Reilly. He's got different qualities and different attributes that make him a completely different player from Matt O'Reilly, but he can certainly be somebody that steps in to start in the midfield for the majority of our games up here. I think for every game. He's been against Rangers. He was brilliant in the December derby. He was good when he came off the bench in the Ibrox derby. He barely played in the one at Celtic Park very recently, and he was brilliant when he came off the bench yesterday. I think that he's brilliant for this league. I think that he can get better. I actually think in the Champions League, at times he looked like one of our better performers as well, just with the things that he'd done off the ball. So I think he's got a lot to offer. I think that everything points towards signing him. It's just about the fee. That's literally where the only kind of sceptical side of it comes in. The fee of what we pay for Paulo Bernardo. I've got to run through oh my God, Adam, jeez. Oh, well, let me get through the donations because I've got to be nice here. You make me very humble. I tell you that. And I'm a humble man. I try my best to be a humble man. I feel like I'm a humble man. Not to toot my own fucking trumpet. I know that doesn't sound so humble saying you're a humble man, but I try to be. Edward, thank you. We'll get into the Q&A after these donations, everybody. Edward with $9.99. God bless you. Thank you very much. Saying, season full of highs and lows, but you're always there, mate. Hail, hail. Thanks for another unreal season covering the champions. I love doing it. I'm never going to fucking stop doing it unless for some reason I had to. Unless if there was a gun to my head and I had to stop. I'll be here next season. I'll be here the season after that. I'll be here the season after that, Edward. Through the good and the bad. Listen, if I could do COVID, I can do anything. So don't worry. In fact, honestly, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you, Christopher, as well for the £2. Appreciated. Saying Charlotte says hi. Hi, Charlotte. Am I talking to Charlotte, a person, or Charlotte, North Carolina? I don't know. Hi, Charlotte. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for the donation, Christopher. And Adam, that's very generous. I appreciate it with all my heart. Thank you. God bless. Drink it in. I am drinking it in. I will continue to drink it in. We will drink it in together. I appreciate it. It's a real nice feeling when you show me your appreciation like that, guys. And thank you very much, Adam. So, should we get on to the Q&A? I'm lost for words. It was the same last week as well when people donated to show. I love it when you guys thank me for the work that I put on over the year, because there's always that wee bit inside me. Goes, am I doing enough? Do I do enough? Am I a good enough channel? You know, I think I am. Quite frankly. But right, let's get into the Q&A, shall we? Thank you, Celtic champions, again as well. It is much appreciated. Everything, like every donation is massive, and it helps me go a long way, considering this is my job now. So anything's a bonus to help run the channel and keep me doing this full time. So thank you. Right, let's see. Paul saying, alright Ryan, how's my Celtic bro tonight? What about Clementine's meltdown yesterday? Absolutely class. Big shout out from Paul and Ding from sunny Dunfermline. God bless you up in Dunfermline. Good result for Ross County today. No, what I was going to say was, Clement, yeah, do you know what? I've not even had as much time as I'd like to go and look at the meltdown, but what I have enjoyed is the Celtic players taking the absolute piss out of Todd Cantwell. That has been hilarious. And listen, I've prided myself for years on this channel of of trying my best to come on, and despite what I might say behind cameras, and if you meet me and if I slag certain players off or whatever, I try my best to come on here and be at least level-headed and present myself as a professional, because at the end of the day, I didn't go and get a degree in journalism to come on and act like a dafty. I try my best to keep it professional, right? But Todd Cantwell is one player who I will continuously take great pleasure in seeing the piss taken out of, and I will do my best to take the absolute piss out of him. A constant wimp in Scottish football, one of the biggest wimps I've ever seen, and somebody who I will gladly laugh at till the day he leaves Scottish football. A loser of a boy, a loser of a player, and long may it continue. Mr. Todd Cantwell, enjoy your summer, my man. Your second place medals will look great on that mantelpiece of yours. Aye, let's see what else is there. God, there's a lot of, as usual, you know what these questions are, the Q&A sessions are like. I need to kind of scroll up and down, and if you want me to answer a question desperately, then just make sure to keep pampering it in, and I'll try and get to it eventually. Do I think Kuhn will ever get her on the team when Forrest maybe cools down? Yeah, when he starts you know, when he Adam, for goodness sake, Adam, that's 40 quid. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. He says, I'll second what Mr. Edwards said. Appreciate your work, Ryan. Absolute gentleman. Thank you, brother. God bless you and your family, Adam. I really do appreciate that. God, I'm choking up. I do. I really do. And I will try my best to raise the game next season as well, shall I? Hopefully I can. I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you. I wish I could do more to show my appreciation sometimes. Keep an eye out, by the way, when the new home kit's released, I'm going to try and get one or two to give away on the channel. So make sure to keep in touch, keep top of the channel. And you guys, I'll try and give back to you guys with a couple of shirts and giveaway this season. Always try to do that every year. And this year, you guys have, honestly, for this being my first year doing this full time properly, you have made it a hell of a fucking ride. So aye. Let's see. How big was it that we won this league and got over the Ange era? Oh, it was massive. Look, listen, we had to do this year. I think for a lot of people who were still doubting Brendan Rodgers, just to get it over the line and give us that optimism and confidence for next year. And listen, you were right to maybe doubt the manager at times. You were right to maybe have your kind of anxiety up a little bit with the way that we're performing over the season. Listen, you can count on maybe two hands how many good performances we had this season, but what mattered was getting it over the line and bringing it to the end the way we did. So it was huge, Cal, absolutely. Wouldn't be surprised if Clement walked. He's been a dead man walking since the Ross County defeat, and Rodgers has pushed his buttons. Look, listen, I don't think he'll walk, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did, but I don't think so. I think that he's probably going to try and give it a bash next year, and then the first meeting with Rodgers will be a funny one, I think. That could be make or break for him, depending on how we play, depending on what the scoreline finishes that day, because it'll be Celtic Park, the first one of the season. That could be make or break. Let's see. Oh, my man, Lewis. What a guy. Shout out to Lewis. The best of the best at what he does, Mr. Lewis Laird. It's good to see you. I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're well. Well, it's okay, a lot of questions piling in. Adam, surely a Paradise Windfall. Are you, Adam? Are you a Paradise Windfall winner? Let us know in the chat. If Man City won titles on Rapid, it would be boring despite them having world-class players. If Celtic won title after title, will never get boring. It will never, ever get boring. Never, ever get boring. What is my favourite moments? We're going to kind of try and look over the course of the season in the next week or so, and try and look back on certain moments and such before we get into the serious business of preparing for next season. Some of my favourite moments, God, and I wasn't at Feyenoord, I know, you don't have to bloody remind me, Aidan, but yeah, I wasn't there. God, beating Rangers, it just never gets old, does it? I think the penalty shootout against Aberdeen was worth it in the end. It wasn't my favourite at the time, but when the final save was made by Hart, that was huge. Generally, Rodgers coming back, one of my favourite moments of the season when he said we'll see you in May, because it set a lot of people up and I loved it. There's been some great moments, there absolutely has been. I'm in for, thank you, Daniel. Get me an informed card in FIFA. I'm going to have to scroll down a bit. Best place in G33 for a wee shushburger, buddy boy. Oh, do you know what? I tell you, if Chief was still here in the Chippy, in the Craig End Chippy, he would have done a cracking shushburger. He loved it. He loved a laugh like that, you know. God. The thing is, G33 is generally quite poor, but I'm serving shush burgers all week. So there you go. There's your place for one in G33, Demo, my man. Let's see. Were you at, or did you watch the game today? No, I didn't go. I was going to go through press. We got offered a press ticket and I was going to go, but I just left it. But I didn't go, no, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because the weather's fucking minging. But I watched some of it on YouTube and it looked quite good. Would I rather Cohen, Castile and McCarthy or the Turkish guy and Begovic? Probably Castiles and McCarthy. Look at the state of my hair when I've got a hat on, by the way. Terrible, innit? Would I rather Cohen, Castiles? Definitely Castiles and McCarthy. I would take the two in a heartbeat. I like the look of Sakir. I think he's probably a great keeper, but I think there's a... Look, listen, 275 appearances for Wolfsburg in the German Bundesliga is no easy feat, you know, and that's a huge club to play for in the one of the top 4 divisions in this continent. I think that you're getting a known quality with Cohen Castiles, and I would love to see him sign. Absolutely, he's my first choice for a keeper replacement for Joe Hart. Absolutely, Lee. Absolutely, I'll be merched out. All my CM Punk merch will be on. The YouTube money has got better recently. $575 for 1,000 views. I don't even know what my RPM is. You know that? I don't even look. I just I look at every video and hope that it's doing well. I don't actually look at my RPM, so it might be 575. I think it's more than that though. I don't know. It doesn't work out in my head for the money that I make. I don't think. I don't know. Listen, I was told one thing in my life. When you're working, don't talk about money and don't talk about politics. And Christ, I talk a lot about politics, so I will not talk about money. It's rude, isn't it? It's rude. Do you remember the Seahawks slasher hat? The Seahawks slasher hat. I remember the hack slinging slasher. The Seahawks slasher hat. No, I do not. Seahawks slasher hat. I'm just seeing a bunch of normal hats. I can't think of a slasher hat. Oh, I don't know. Am I showing my noob side here? Let's see, what other questions can we get? What are we on? 27 minutes. I'll go for it. I'm not going to wrap it up in the next 3 minutes. I did indeed, Lewis. I did indeed. Not another McCarthy. No, listen, I'd rather Alec McCarthy than James McCarthy. And I think he'd be a cracking backup keeper if he was willing to come in as a backup. We'll talk a lot about that probably in the next week or so, because I'm imagining that more realistic links will rise now with goalkeepers that the season is done and Joe Hart is officially retired. I'm going to miss him. By the way, we've not spoke about it enough. I will miss him. I will absolutely miss him, Joe Hart. He's a hero. One of my favourite players in my whole lifetime at Celtic, and he got it. He just got it. It was right. It was in there. It was in his heart, and I love that about him. Have I seen Baltimore pushing Cantwell? Yes, hilarious. Listen, Rangers aren't going to win anything. I know they win the League Cup, right? But they're not going to succeed in this country without getting rid of all these absolute Jessies that play for them, including Tavernier, including Goldson, and including that prick Cantwell, if you pardon my French. Hi, Rido. Fuck, marry, kill. Brother Walfred, CM Punk, and John Lennon. What a weird three, considering 2 of them are dead. I refrain to answer your question. I think it's in poor taste. I think you should respect the founder of our great football club. I think you should respect one of the greatest artists to ever live. And I think that CM Punk deserves to be treated with more respect than talking about him in that manner. Thank you very much. Watch your mouth. Did you manage to get it? No, I did not. I can't. Did you? Lucky, at least you got the offer. At least you got the option, David. I'm still kind of gutted, and I'm absolutely devastated that I missed a 90th minute winner against Rangers in a Scottish Cup final. I will never ever forget the fact that I missed that game. I've not missed it. My first ever experience in a derby game at Hampden was Dembele in 2016, and I've not missed one since, and I've not missed any game at Hampden since. I've not missed a game in Hampden since 2016, and to not get a ticket it was painful. But I'm trying to get over it. I'm trying to just get over it. Somewhere in here, I'll find a way. What are the plans for the summer on the channel, AFM or any Euros related content? I've still to figure it out. We'll see. I wanted to do the Euros of beers again, to be quite honest, but I think I've left it too late to get the beers in. I wanted to do it again. I know what you might say, well, a bit pointless if you've done it before, but I meant with different beers, you know, like, so for Italy, don't use Peroni, use like Moretti or something, and then change it up. But I think I've maybe left it a bit late. So we'll see. Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't say it better myself, Kevin. A very apt summary of what Joe Hart has given to this club. Listen, this is what I started the chat. I should retire, shouldn't I? I've done it all. Just using my Euro Millions wins. If you were a Euro Millions winner, Adam, then God Almighty, I'd be asking for, I'd be begging. No, I'm joking, but thank you again for the donation. And well, he's cleared it up, guys. He's not a Paradise Windfall winner. He's a Euro Millions winner. Just a slight bit better than the Paradise Windfall. Thank you, Pat, as well, for the €2 for the super sticker. I don't really get what super stickers are. Do you know that? I really don't know. Where's the sticker? I've never understood super stickers. Is that something I need to set up? I don't know. Thank you, Pat. I do appreciate it. Listen, we want to do it. It's about finding the right time and place and moment for it. Obviously, if you didn't see the last issue of the podcast, McGinley's going to be leaving us. His last podcast with us will be this week. So we've got a job to do filling in the role of Ryan McGinley. So we'll see how that goes. Have I tried Jim? Yes, tried a lot. I love them, Joseph. Absolutely love them. I'm a Kölsch fan myself. Kölsch is my favourite type of beer. I love a Kölsch. Any kind of Kölsch. All the brands of Kölsch. Love a Kölsch. If you don't know what a Kölsch is, if you're confused, it's a beer that's made in the area of Cologne in Germany, so up in North Rhine-Westphalia. They make a fantastic beer up there. I know the Cologne Celt watches my videos. I hope he's pleased to hear that. What a guy. I love a Kölsch. Absolutely love it. Let's see. Let's get a few more new panel members. You say we're going to host auditions like X Factor. Me and Kieran all are going to sit like Louis and Simon to try and find his replacement. Daniel, I've just seen your question, and for the sake of PG questions, I won't bring up on screen, but I'm chuckling at it. Just know that, Daniel. Joe Hart to replace. Listen, if I could get Joe Hart to replace him, you know, I'd pay top dollar. I'd pay top dollar. Where's O gone? I think we'll see I think O will be off in the summer. I think it's just natural for O to take the next step now and move on with his career. I just think that, especially if we say need a permanent leader, there's not going to be a place for O in this team. And I mean it out of all due respect. I don't mean it to be nasty, and I don't mean to just pap him off to the side. But God, Adam, you're giving me a heart attack now. Are you going to have enough for a loaf of bread? You're panicking me. Thank you. Can my donations guarantee a trivia stream? Do you know what? Absolutely, we'll get one done, and because you've donated so generously this evening, I will make sure of it. We'll probably get one done, not this week coming, but when the news starts to slow down a bit and such, when we'll get one going maybe next week. I'll keep it in mind. I want to do one again because I enjoyed it and it's a good laugh. So thank you, and once again, Adam, thank you very much because it's too kind. Right, let's get a couple more questions in before we wrap up tonight's stream, shall we? A couple more. Come on. Let's make them good ones. I don't spend Ryan's rent. He quite frankly is. He's not. Well, he is, but he's not at the same time. We'll have him on a couple of times, but with his new job, there's conditions, and he'll be on for a couple of the big episodes next year. But yeah, he basically will be, and he will be missed. Absolutely, he's been a crank. I think he's been on 97 episodes of the podcast, if you include the one he'll be on this coming week, which will be his last, which is a fantastic contribution. I couldn't thank him enough. So we'll talk. If you want to know why he's leaving and all the rest of it, you'll hear in the next show. A couple of, how long till I know who gets sacked? Who's getting sacked? I don't know. It depends. How long till you know who's getting sacked? I don't know who's getting sacked. Who's getting sacked? Thank you, Dave. Great content, mate. It was great to meet you at the Merchant. Thank you. I appreciate that. Pleasure meeting everybody who wants to bump into me and talk to me. I say wants to bump into me as if you go out your way to bump into me. But if you bump into me and you want to talk to me, I appreciate anybody and I appreciate that donation, Dave. Thank you very much. Thank you, Paul. I thank everybody for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. It makes it all worth it, you know. Should the kiosk at Celtic Park introduce some shush burgers? Absolutely, Anthony. Absolutely. Let's get them on the... Granted, they'd charge a fucking fortune for them, wouldn't they? It's already dear enough for a kebab pie. I don't know how much they charge for a shush burger. Probably about 17 quid. Aye. Right, well, I'll do 400 viewers, by the way. I appreciate everybody who came in to tune in tonight. This will not be the last you see of me, despite that being the season over. I'll be back in the channel tomorrow. I won't be away until I've got my holidays, and I've not got my holidays for another, well over a month. So you're going to see a lot of me. You're not getting rid of me. So the season might be done, but we're not done here. So we get to work again tomorrow. We'll get into the series conversations, and of course throughout the week as well, we will have more of these live streams as well. We'll have a lot of it during the summer. Trust me, there'll be a lot of these streams, because when there's quiet news days and there's not a lot to talk about, you guys are the conversation. Your questions create the topics to discuss, and I love that about the community that we have in this channel. So there'll be a lot of these streams, a lot of videos through the summer. Thank you to everybody for tuning in this evening. Thank you to everybody who donated, especially Adam, who's donated half of his fucking life earnings. But thank you to everybody who donated. Everything's appreciated. And if you didn't donate, I thank you for being here. I appreciate you for just clicking on the video. So God bless you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday night. Chill out, enjoy before you go back to... Oh, it's a bank holiday tomorrow, so if you've got the day off, enjoy it. Enjoy it all. Celtic are the fucking best. Take care and I'll see you next time. Ta-da.